Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2 of Octomore October, and today we dive into Octomore 15.2. This is a little bit of an unusual one because the 0.2 Octomore typically used to be available in travel retail, and now regular retailers like the Whisky shop who I work for, or Whisky Exchange and all these other people now sell it. That's an interesting thing. With this series there isn't a 0.4 release, so I wonder if they've just got rid of that. We'll see, time will tell. But this is 108.2 ppm, which is the same as 15.1. It's significantly boozier though. Oh no, it's not. This is 57.9% ABV. I think it's actually the lowest of the three of them. Also 5 years old. And when it comes to cask influences, this is probably the most unusual. So the 0.2 always used to use a lot of red wine influences, or wine influences. We have the same thing here. This is mostly matured in second fill wine, couldn't find the exact variety, and second fill bourbon casks. It's then all finished in first fill cognac. I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with cognac casks. I'm yet to really find one I think works. Works wonderfully for cognac, obviously, but I don't really think it adds much or a lot to single malt whiskey. But let's dive in and see what's happening with 15.2. I've got the other little sample bottles here. Quite similar in colour, really. They're not a million miles apart. But only 5-year-old liquids, so let's not start comparing colours too contrastly. That's different. You can see there's quite a bit missing from these already. I gave the colleagues who I work with, or my colleagues I should say, a good run at these in terms of their views and opinions, because 2 of them were looking to buy one of them. And everyone had the same opinion about this whiskey, and I'm still yet to try it. This is my first time trying it, so let's see if my opinion matches theirs. So much more citrusy than 0.1. 0.1 was this kind of unctuous, banana-y, ice creamy, and then radically savoury sage barbecue sort of thing. This is really bright and very light in comparison. I still get an ice cream note, like a nice big scoop of vanilla ice cream and a little wafer cone. But there's loads of citrus with this. I can't decide if it's lemon or lime. It seems like a lot sharper, so I'm going to go with lime. And then to contrast that, there's this big old savoury hint in the back of it too. It really reminds me of sesame oil. I'm trying to pick out just it's been in the glass for about half an hour. And when looking for it, you can almost get like a red apple, like apple core, kind of raisiny note. In fact, diving into it a little bit deeper, there is almost like a toffee sort of fudge note to it. But it's really dominant over the smoke. The smoke really is lost quite a bit in comparison to 0.1. Just reset myself a bit. Should really have some dark chocolate handy for this. I think I just threw my nose a little bit too deep into there. Yeah, the smoke is there, but it's really pushed back. I expected it to be a little bit more dominant. Okay, let's taste. Okay, I can see why people wouldn't necessarily like this one. So all my colleagues who got to try these, 0.2 is their least favourite. They always described it as really acidic and quite toppy. There's a lot of big trebly notes in this, and I do get that. I've never tried Octomore New Make Spirit before. And with the 0.1, you don't really get any idea that it's such a young whiskey. You do with this one. When it hits the palate, you do get some of those more subtle vegetal notes that you would associate with any New Make Spirit, whether it's peated or not. The biggest disappointing thing is that it doesn't come across that smoky. It's smoky, but it's more a very dry kind of smoke. It's almost like the kind of finish that something like Lafroig 10 has. It's very dry. It pulls all the moisture out of your mouth. This one's a little bit confusing. As you can hear, Doggy's still snoring. Yeah, you get the New Make Spirit. There's a slight hint of that toffee fudginess. And then the end of it becomes really spicy, really forward. But none of it is oak influenced at all. It's a really cool contrast to the 0.1. I don't know if it's better though. Even on the nose now, it comes across as a little bit more youthful. And that citrus note, it's almost turning now into like pineapple. Yeah, same thing again. But this time the first note on the taste was more of that New Make Spirit thing. Now I don't really mind that. I quite like spirity whiskey. I prefer it to over-oaked to cask influential whiskey. But I think the 0.1 had the balance really well. This seems to be, despite being in bourbon, wine, second fill casks and first fill cognac, you aren't really pulling a lot of that out of there. Like, I'm not getting huge cask influences at all. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. That doesn't float my boat at all. Bit of water. Don't know why I went all Cockney then, but a little bit of water, just to see. Less this time, if that makes any sort of difference. If you ever do get to try Octomore side by side, I do recommend like having different glasses and having them all sit in the glass for quite a while, because they do take a while to express typically. Even though I'm filming all of these reviews on the same day, we have different glasses and they've all been in there for at least half an hour each, just to let them open up as much as they can. Yeah, again, the water just kind of kills a lot of the nose. There's a small element of that raisin thing. It's almost like a rum and raisin ice cream. Ice cream seems to be somewhat of a running theme with these bottles. A little bit of saltiness. Kind of kills a lot of the smoke off. Okay. In a weird turn of events, the water has brought out more oak influences on the taste. There is a spiciness now which isn't New Make Spirit. It's more of a woodier, drier. I don't know what the wine was, but the taste isn't bourbon. It's not that sweetness, and it's also not the sweetness of cognac. So whatever the wine casks were are becoming particularly dominant at this point. It's almost like a brown sugar, kind of melon sort of note. It's quite unusual. It's one of the first whiskies in a while that the taste has improved is the wrong word, but I'll say it, has become more improved with water. Still not a huge fan though. For £155 a bottle, I think when it comes to peat, you can do a lot better. So with this, if the 0.1 is an 8.5, and I did actually really enjoy the 0.1, probably going to give this something like 7.5, which is a pretty low score for an Octomore. There is just something really unpleasant. It's right at the back of my tongue now, and it is a spirity note, but it's really like vinegary and quite off. Obviously it's all personal. I've read some reviews where people love this, but yeah, this really isn't for me. So I think I'm going to give the 0.2 a 7.5 out of 10. Reset my palate, and then we'll come back and see you next week for 15.3. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.